Oh, thank you for not letting the meme die. Everyone knows that, we do not have a CEO at Nostr, but if we did have one, he would be on my T-shirt. Good morning, Fiat Jeff.
Good morning, Fiat Jeff.
So this panel is called The State of Nostr, and I think a great way to get started is how do we purple pill or on board and get everybody that is back at the second half of this restaurant, everybody that's back in the second half, how do we get them to care about what we're talking about, and how do we get them to be curious enough to come and use Nostr? Archinox, you're the closest, so go ahead and answer this and pass the mic down, please, since we only have one mic.
That's a really good question. From the perspective of what I'm working on, I think enabling anyone to immediately start publishing their content and making money from it with no, you don't need anyone's approval, you don't need to set up an account, you don't need to get a bank account, you don't need to sign up for Stripe. It just literally is available from the moment you visit the webpage. I think that for anyone who creates content, that should be really compelling, especially because they can get paid directly, peer-to-peer. So I think it's tough, because there's we're fighting so much addiction with the current platforms. They try to addict you to keep you on it. And, you see people who come into Nostr and they're like, hey, I'm going to check out Nostr. And then they kind of disappear for a while. And then they come back and they're like, I'm more addicted to Twitter than this. And overall, that's not super healthy. And we don't want to shoot. Our target should not be to be more addictive than those platforms because they're already basically crack. And we don't want to that's not healthy for anybody. But when people do really get it is when they see that they're making, valuable, fruitful, and authentic connections that they never got on the other platforms. And if anybody in the back is listening, that's most of the people here I've heard of and not actually met in person, but I have friends, my wife calls them my internet friends. And I'm they're real people. I'm going to go hang out with them this weekend. They're real. The people in my phone are real. And I have so many friends. I have friends on every continent from, meeting them on Nostr and then meeting them at events. We have shared values. We have a shared mission. And I just think that's and more than I could ever get out of any other legacy platform. I mean, Facebook, like I said the other day, is where friendships go to die. Is on Facebook. When you're friends on Facebook, it's that's the people you don't talk to anymore. That's why I deleted my Facebook and I actually talk to people again. So I think that's the authentic relationships part is really I don't know if we talk about that enough because it's really, really something that has changed my life and in a very literal way. And I'm just very grateful for that and the people that I've met. So thank you.
Yeah, basically all of that, but also I think this kind of renaissance that we're seeing with the vibe code tools is giving us more power to build and simplify. Right, you don't need to have a deep developer background, although the developers can now work on more complicated things, and the simple plebs like myself can build basic website foundations. And I think the easier we can make it to get people to sign up, to onboard, and show them the incentive structure, then it becomes more natural, more organic for people to want to use this. And again, that authentic connection that we have and the friendships that we form, and it's making the internet great again is I think what Nostr is doing for us.
Yeah, well said. I think we need all of those in addition to some self-sustaining, solid business models that can go out there and, like Ainsley talked about, the 1,000 true fans, right? And there's a trade-off there though, because you can make a living, and that's the thesis, is you can be self-supporting and be a full-time musician. Quit the day job is the measure of success. And from a business standpoint, we need more of that in Nostr. But the trade-off is a lot of people also want to be the rock star, right? They want to be on billboards and play arenas, and that's not necessarily the budget of this model. We need to break through little by little, play the long game, and really offer something that's more compelling, in a way, I think more humble, more real than what these large platforms that have us all captured offer. And so just be better than those at a human experience.
Yeah, all that, and all that, and all that. Yeah. Yeah. You come for the tech and you stay for the people. It's a funny thing that freedom does. You would think on the outside that freedom is a bunch of crazies, and you'd be right. And we all get along, and you should too. You can. We do. So that's all I got to say about Nostr. You come for the tech because the tech is real. And then you stick around because the people are real too. That's all.
Well said. So, Archinox, in your talk earlier, you talked about Nostr's bear market. And this is something that I've been saying for probably the past year or so, that Bitcoin is in a bull market. Well, maybe not the past couple of days, but Bitcoin is generally speaking in a bull market. So why is Nostr then in a bear market? Where has everybody gone during the bull market? I know people talk about in Bitcoin, they say that bear markets are for building, and we did. We built like crazy in 2022 and 2023. So what happened? Because I truly believe that Nostr has been in a decline for the past year. Do you agree with me, yes or no, and where'd everybody go?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that people probably left because they just weren't getting that dopamine hit that they were getting from other platforms. Not everybody has the courage to burn the boats when they come to Nostr and delete all their social medias. And for some people, they do eventually, but it takes a while. And so, once you take that step, it's hard. I did it. It's hard to do, but once you do it, you're really grateful. And so, I mean, why'd they leave? I guess I think that there's still a lot of rough edges. There's still things that don't work as they ought to. And I think a lot of people, they come and they post a thing and they get like 0 likes and they're like, well, I'm out of here. And they don't understand like that building your network and following others and interacting is the basis of how you succeed. It's not like you post a banger and Twitter just like puts it on everyone's feed because they think they're going to make a lot of ad revenue on it. And so, yeah, it's just different. And, I think that we can prove that by continuing to just be better. And eventually people are going to, we are bringing in people. I think we're bringing in the right people. We got a lot of great builders. We're going to keep building during the bear market. And then I think then we can get out of it when we really show the world that we have something that's actually fundamentally better to offer. And it solves people's problems, like real world, I need to make money type problems. I think that'll help.
Yeah, it's the inverse, right? In the Bitcoin bear markets, the Nostr bull market begins. And to your point earlier, there was a lot of building. And there was a lot of community building, our Zapathons that we used to do and all the fun things that we used to do and still do to this day, are happening in those early days in the Bitcoin bear market. I think people just get too distracted, especially Bitcoiners, that it's just like number go up and everyone wants to start talking about macro economics and, and stuff like that. So I think, I do think we shall see a return, perhaps as these platforms, continue to devolve and get worse and, with more AI slop and more algorithm-driven, click for likes and things like that, people just get tired of it. Or at least that's my hope as we move forward. So.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm always curious about is like, do you go carrot or stick. Like, how do you get to Nostr? Is it, I still, I don't know if I was talking about this in the panel earlier or at the table while talking to other people, but I still stand in awe of the TikTok ban, on Inauguration Day, and the amount of meetings that I was adjacent to or in the music industry of people saying, I mean, they built their entire 10,000 hours in this one little walled garden, and we talk about it all the time. And for a moment, about 48 hours, that was all shut down. And there was, I think it's just like when a bank fails, nobody believes that it's actually going to fail. Oh, they'll figure it out somehow, we'll get our money back. But at some point, that it was absolutely ridiculous. The marketing meetings I was in were the actual TikTok that's from the PRC, from the mainland China, like the actual, like, real captured TikTok. Like, people were talking about that as a viable alternative. Like, well, Trump's not going to turn this one off. This is the one from China. And
Which censorship do you want?
yeah, like full disclosure or behind the scenes censorship. And I don't know, like, if that just really in a community who builds their entire careers on that sort of a product, and for them to just totally miss the mark just shows our level of opportunity, but are people going to get there because we're doing the best work and offering better products and we have the best content? I hope so, but I also think there's going to be a lot of pain and a lot of rugging that goes on, and that's probably going to be the floodgate. But I still, when Brazil banned TikTok, I've had so many of these moments, or banned Twitter. I had so many of these moments where, like, this is it. All the Swifties are going to Blue Sky. This is it. And, like, one of these days, we got to get the right person to say, Taylor Swift's bringing everyone to Nostr, and then we'll see what happens, right? But that's all I got.
Yeah, all that y'all said, because I'm the last one. I don't think I'm concerned at all. I'm not concerned about people leaving Nostr. I don't think, Nostr's not a network of people. So Nostr's a network of apps, right? And the technology proves itself, and the value is real for integrating with Nostr. So I'm pitching my thing, right? But that stands on its own. Like, people leaving is zero concern to me, because what people do is people leave apps and people join apps. We just need to build more apps. And I'm not concerned, because I have faith that the value prop is real, right? For a more real world facing apps to really succeed. And so, yeah, build.
I just want to say quick that, Manny, when you were talking earlier about you researched all the different protocols and Nostr was the only one that had the properties that it does, I can second that. I've also researched, Jack Dorsey's, he started the Blue Sky kind of initiative to create something that was decentralized social media. And they had proposals from all these different protocols and companies that were like, hey, you should use our protocol for Blue Sky. Hey, you should use this protocol. Then they put out a research white paper that said, here's what we found when we looked at all these different protocols. And I looked at all of them. And Nostr wasn't on the list. Yeah. And it also was, way better than all of them.
And I saw that list.
Yeah. I mean, the properties of Nostr are just fundamentally better than all those other alternatives. And I think... And yeah, it's way simpler. And I think that one of the main issues with all those other ones is that there's always an angle where somebody is trying to make money on the protocol. And that's always a recipe for failure. Because, why would you do that when you can do something that's open? But anyway.
Thank you. So you coincidentally hit on something I wanted to hit in our last 5 minutes here. You alluded to better technology, but we know from the history of the world that better technology doesn't always win. It's what the people choose. So we need people to choose Nostr. You're choosing to build on Nostr, all of you, in different ways, whether that be building applications or building community. How do we get more people to build on technology that we feel is better? Yeah, we're going to start with Manny. That way he can go first. How do we fix it, Manny?
Incentives, right? Like, this isn't a thing that you can force. People gotta want it, right? You gotta want Nostr. You gotta want freedom, or you just gotta want underneath the thumb of something who's putting the pressure down. And you gotta know that the way out exists. So yeah, you just let the people know where the pain point. No, you reiterate the pain points that people are sharing with you, and you offer that Nostr itself is the solution, or even indeed you just offer that the values that Nostr adds, the value prop of freedom, and you're not going to be under the thumb. That's the thing that gets them in. So, but not directly, because people don't really care about that directly. You say freedom to somebody, and they're just going to look the other way. So we all know what this technology does, and so we just translate that into whatever it is, the pain points that they're talking about. And you say, well, yeah, this does fix that, and then you just say it again the next month and the next week and the next day, and you just, you carry on. It'll happen, so.
Yep. First word you said was incentives. That's that would be my first word as well. Is get people seeing value and understanding the value prop of this network, this community, this protocol. But I think we also having a spirit of, not trying to sound too flowery, but inclusivity was the word that was coming to my mind, of like, when people, like if just say the TikTok ban lasted and that was it, I'd be concerned about, doing a big "I told you so" dick dance all over those people, and like that is something that we have, because in our culture we've been, going against the grain for so long and been punched down on by so many naysayers that as it grows, to continually focus on being very welcoming and not divisive when other people see it. Because that's the last thing you want, is to shame someone about like being stuck in the fiat or centralized social media realm, when we just have a bunch of people telling them "I told you so" over here.
We do have a lot of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's human nature. Everyone wants to dunk on somebody, right? But one of the things I think is one of our strengths is, diversity, right? It's diversity of thought, different people of different backgrounds. And you think about that even in an environment, a diverse forest with different trees and different plants and things like that, it really thrives. So I think that is, our strength, our advantage. Unfortunately, everyone loves that sort of tribalism, my team versus your team. Politics dominates most people's thoughts, where, it should be community. And, we're building community in a different way. I mean, we're doing it broadly, but I think, you take those lessons and you can apply them locally as well. And I think that's, how we continue to win.
We need good incentives, and when anybody says incentives, they're actually just saying we need to make money. That's what incentives are, right? We need to make money. When people can make more money on Nostr than they can anywhere else, they're gonna be on Nostr. That's just the simple fact. So we need to work on monetization. We need to get people like self-sustaining, and the other properties are always going to support it and continue to proliferate it. One quick story that I think is really cool is when a long time ago in 2023, when I went to the Nostr Asia conference, I learned that in Japan, they have their own relays that only accept notes in Japanese, and they reject any other language, and they have their own clients. And I was like completely blown away, because on the other side of the planet, there's just like all these people doing their own things on Nostr. And that was so cool to me, because that means that anywhere in the world, this thing is growing, even if you're not even aware of it. And that was very, very encouraging. And so I just think, if we continue to talk to people about it, continue to do things like this, it's just going to continue growing.
Yeah, I think we win by small grassroots infiltration like this, going around the world, going around the country, wherever you live, having meetups. I mean, that's literally following the path of Bitcoin. Yeah, to be continued. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming, being on the panel. Thanks for coming and joining us here in Nostr Valley. And hopefully next year we're back here talking about the state of Nostr with all of you again, and we can be like, wow, we did this, and we're growing, we're being more inclusive. We have more communities, different groups of people joining, and more engagement is happening, and more incentives are being taken advantage of, and we're all making money.
Well, I just want to say, when I said it was the Nostr bear market, that's not a bad thing. Like, just embrace the bear market, build, chill, do your thing, continue to grow it. Like, then it's probably going to be easier now than ever to just do something and get it out there, and you won't have like a billion support requests from people needing help. So, just keep going, embrace it, and we'll get there soon enough. You'll miss these days, I promise. So let's all enjoy them.
Cool. Thank you guys.